Good evening, baseball fans, and we are here for the regular season update because we are heading into the postseason for the Astros franchise. And as you can see, here's the postseason bracket. We've got the wild card game is the Houston Astros, which is us, and the Oakland Athletics. And then in the NL, it's the San Diego Padres and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And whoever wins our series will be going on to face the Detroit Tigers. Because, once again, we are the wild card team. As you can see, the standings, the Mariners won the division. They took the lead later on in the season because we didn't play our best baseball towards the end of the season. And plus, the Mariners basically dominated the division. As you can see, they have a 46-30 division record. They're 7-10 They're 7-3 in their last 10. And they've had a very good second half of the season as they were able to overtake us for the first place spot. We finished 3 games back and the Athletics 5, and the wild card was the Astros and the Athletics. I was kind of hoping that the Red Sox would have a good last week of the season, because if they did, they could have pushed the Athletics out of this spot and made them not even make the playoffs. But you could argue that the AL West is one of the best divisions in baseball, because we have 3 teams who are playoff teams, and I don't believe any other division can say that. No, they cannot. No other division can say that. Maybe the AL West, the NL West can argue because they have the Giants, but besides that, you see the Tigers basically dominated. Here, we'll start off from the American League. The Orioles, they won the AL East, 93-69. They're playing some decent baseball. I played them a few matchups, and they have an extremely good offense. Their defense, as you can see, is first. Nobody makes errors on their teams. Their pitching isn't too good for some reason, even though they have 3 pitchers in like the top 10 for strikeouts. They have really good pitching. The AL Central, you get the Tigers, who are the best team in baseball, 103 wins, 59 losses. They dominated. The second place team was 27 games out. It's also a fact that they're 76-86, but the Tigers dominated. You could argue it's because these teams were in their division, but still, respectably, 103-59. Then in the American League West, you got the Mariners, the Astros, the Athletics. We already saw that. And then the National League, the Braves won 90-72. Then in the NL Central, you got the Reds and the Pirates are the wildcard team. And then you got the NL West is the Dodgers and Padres. The Dodgers won the World Series last year, and they are still one of the best teams. You can see contact, power, defense, pitching, speed, and overall, they are still up there. Top 10 in all of them, top 5 in all of them, but speed. So that is very scary to be any team in the NL who has to play them, because they are a very, very good team. And for our wild card game, it's going to be Julio Teheran versus Sonny Gray. I'm not really too sure why they're going with Sonny Gray. I know why I'm going with Teheran, because he's the best pitcher on my staff. I don't really trust Kozar because I am a bit shaky when I actually pitch with him, but Teheran is solid. He's the best pitcher I have on my roster. I believe he's actually the best overall on my roster altogether. But for them, I know Sonny Gray is probably their best pitcher on their roster altogether, but let me go to statistics, players, and the Athletics for pitchers. I probably would have went with either Medlin or Griffin because they're hot right now. Definitely not Kazmir because hasn't been doing too well as of late, but I definitely would not have gone with Gray because he's cold and he didn't have the best of seasons, so that's not exactly the smartest move by them, but they're going with it because that's their pitching rotation. And now it's time to look at my team statistics. So, leading my team in games played was Altuve with 152. Carter was it. He probably would have played all 162 if I didn't take him out of the DH spot for a good 20 games, because he had a very off season in average-wise. He hit 226. He picked it up towards the end, but he was under the 200. He was hitting under the Mendoza line for a bit there, and that was the portion where I took him out of the lineup. Now you see at bats was Altuve. Average, because these are the guys who are on the roster. I called Villar up at the end of the season because I will show you in a bit. Carlos Correa is out he was out for 4 to 5 weeks, and that is a big blow because he's a very solid defensive shortstop and he could hit for us. And Carlos Correa is injured and he's not going to be back for the entire postseason, so that's a very big blow to our roster. But for the entire season, he didn't even play the entire season because Kendry Morales was out for 1 to 2 months. But he's back now. He's hitting .313. He's got 117 hits. He's got 24 home runs and 17 RBIs. He's still a very solid part of our team, our 3-hitter. Mike O'Neill, ever since picking him up, 56 games, 204 at-bats, .304 average, 13 doubles, 4 triples, a home run and 20 RBIs, 13 stolen bases. A very solid player. I'm very impressed with him. He's definitely going to be sticking around on our team. And I don't think he's going to ask for too much because he's only a 73 overall. I am definitely looking forward to what this guy can do in the future for this Astros team. And then Mike Zunino hit .283, Springer .276. Zunino had 10 home runs, 36 RBIs, hitting the bottom of the order. Springer 27 home runs and 97 RBIs. He could not get those last few RBIs to push himself over 100, but that's okay, because next year our goal is to improve on that. So 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, one way to go. And that's what I'm going to expect from him because George Springer is just going to go up. He's an 87 overall, his A potential, which is actually a 99. So I'm expecting a very insane George Springer next year. Then we got Rafael Ortega, who actually had 5 bombs, 29 RBIs. He hit .270, and he had 19 stolen bases. Altuve, 44 stolen bases, 60 RBIs, 8 home runs, 6 triples, and he also had 168 hits, led our team in that, and .263 average. Not the best of averages, but definitely respectable. Hiroki Nakajima, there you see his stats. 14 home runs, 53 RBIs, .261 average. Donald Nakayama, a very big part of the team this year, 10 home runs, 46 RBIs when he played for Morales on the bench, .257 average. And he has not played a single game in the minor leagues. He's been on the big league club ever since opening day, and he's going to stay there because he's a 78 overall, and he's a very good player. And we got Todd Frazier, .248, 22 home runs, 74 RBIs. He struggled as of towards the end of the season, but you guys saw that he hit a lot of mammoth bombs for me this year. He's definitely a guy that I like, and then you see Correa, shoulder strain, 2 to 3 weeks. Not really sure why a shoulder strain takes 2 to 3 weeks, but it is what it is. He's going to be beastly next year. He's already an 81 overall. He's got a potential. And then you see Chris Carter, with his 28 home runs, 82 RBIs. He picked it up towards the end, led our team in home runs. I think he was second or third with RBIs. So he had a very respectable season on the West. And then for pitchers, winningest pitchers on our team. Mark Appel, 18-8, 3.51 ERA, 135 strikeouts. Then we got Jared Cozart, 15-9. There you see 3.90 ERA, respectable. Julio Teheran, whose ERA was high when I got him, and he got a lot of run support. He's 13-8. He's picked it up as of late. He got his ERA down below the mid-4s, so I'm looking forward to what he can do. Mike Foltynewicz has been a very solid reliever for us this year, 8-5, 3.32 ERA. Alex White, Asher Wojcicki, and I believe Alex Wood. Alex White, Asher Wojcicki, and Alex Wood are all guys who have not pitched full seasons because Alex White, 7-14, 5.42 ERA. He was very solid for us last year, but he has digressed. He hasn't really digressed stat-wise, but he has not pitched where I would like him to be able to pitch. He had a very solid beginning of the season. He has 25 starts. He had 12 quality starts, but they were all beginning of the season. And right now, it's looking like I'm probably going to go with a 4-man rotation for the playoffs because I'm going to play all the playoff games. And this is looking to the future because we have to get past the Athletics first of all. But for the playoffs, I'll most likely be going Teheran. Let me go to wins. I'll mostly be going Teheran, Cozart, Appel, and then Wojcicki. Because Wojcicki, ever since calling him up, he is 7-1 with a 1.16 ERA. Very solid ever since I called him up. 11 games started, 9 quality starts, 1 complete game, 1 shutout. He is a shutdown pitcher. Him, Mark Appel, Cozart, and Teheran, that is a scary 4-man rotation right there. I'm just looking for a 5th guy because White's been shaky. Wood, I'm not re-signing because he hasn't been what I expected him to be, but I'm definitely not re-signing him. And then in the bullpen, we've got saves, Jesse Crane, who blew 10 and gave up 26 runs in the closer's role. So he's actually lost his closing job, as right now I have Sean Doolittle as the closer, and if he proves that he can be the closer, I will give him the money he wants, because I will look to deal Jesse Crane for whatever I can get him with, and I will get that contract off my roster because he's getting 4.5, and then Sean Doolittle, because he's right now, he's got a 1 year, and he's only listed as a relief pitcher, so he's not going to ask for the big bucks like a closer would. So I'm hoping that he doesn't ask for too much, and I can give it to him, and he'll be my closer. K-Rod, let's look. He's got 2 more years left. He's probably going to start decreasing in next year, but I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with him. But that is for the offseason. This is not the offseason. Holds, we got Doolittle, Rodriguez, Foltynewicz. Like I said, Foltynewicz was a very solid reliever for us this year. He has the 71 stamina, and he also throws 90. He also throws 99 to 101. So that is a very solid guy to have in your bullpen. And now for the league leaders. We've got the batting average. You'll see Adrian Belche led with a 310. You got Miggy, Jacoby, only guys hitting over 300. Napoli, Trout. Nobody from my team is here, but the main thing I want to show you guys are batting average, hits, not at bats, but he is... Where's Beltran? He's not even the top at bats, but he's here for hits, he's here for average, he's not there for doubles, not for triples, but he is there for hits, average, home runs, and RBIs. He's leading the league. So he had a very, very good season. Robbie Cano was right behind him in home runs and RBIs. He had a very good season. He was one of the biggest reasons why the Mariners had a very good season. Then in home runs, nobody on my team was up here. Chris Carter was right there on the second page. But we didn't really have too much power this year. RBIs, George Springer, 97, 9th in the league. Nothing but up from this guy. He has 99 potential. I expect to see him as one of the top players in the league next year. If not next year, then the year after that. But he's definitely going to be solid for us next year. I'm positive of that. And we got runs, Mike Trout, Altuve on the bottom there with 87. Stolen bases, leading the league in stolen bases was Jose Altuve. He beat out Ellsbury, who they were basically swapping all season long, and Altuve won the race. So that's very solid, that's very good. And then we got base on balls, slugging, Springer's right here, Miguel Cabrera led the league. Wins was Chris Medlin and Justin Verlander. Mark Appel was tied for third with Tillman, Vargas, and Appel. Mark Appel had a very good season, 3.5 winning rate. Like I said, 18 wins, 18 losses. He's going to be a very vital part to our team in the upcoming years. Also, Jared Kozart's right here. And here's why I said the Orioles have very good pitching. They've got Tillman, Gossman, and Johnson all in this list. Rick Porcello somehow only lost 2 games, won 12 with a 2.98 ERA. Very solid from him for the Tigers. And then you see saves. 51 was Tommy Hunter. Jesse Crane shit the bed at the end of the season, and I didn't leave him in because he was blowing a lot of them, and I didn't want him to stink it up and cost our chances, so I put in Doolittle. And ERA is Tanaka. Kozart's on that list down there with a 3.09. Shutouts, Jason Vargas. Strikeouts, this is a very interesting one. Yu Darvish, 252 strikeouts. Steve Johnson, Kevin Gossman, and Chris Smith-Tillman. 3 unlikely names you would not expect to see on this list. Maybe Gossman because he's got an A potential. Possibly Steve Johnson because he's got his 99 break. And then Chris Tillman is just... He was a guy they thought he was going to be a stud, but he hasn't been in real life. But in this, Steve Johnson, Kevin Gossman, and Chris Tillman has definitely worked out for them. So that's a very scary rotation to go against, especially with their lineup, which is very good as well, with Crush Davis leading that, and Manny Machado and Nick Markakis, and just, they are a very scary team. And then for the National League, you got Freddie Freeman leading in batting average. You got Adrian Gonzalez in hits. Ian Desmond in at bats, who is apparently a Red. Alexi Ramirez is apparently a Cardinal. In doubles, you've got Hunter Pence, then Elvis Andrews, who is a Pirate. You've got Starling Marte and triples with 11. What I've noticed is the American League has a lot more speed, and the American League has a lot more power and bats, and the National League has a lot more triples. I mean, speed guys. They have triples. There you see they had 44 home runs, which is very respectable for Jay Bruce. Very solid player. Pedro Alvarez, very good for the Pirates. And then you also got guys like Jay Bruce and Pedro Alvarez, Paul Goldschmidt. Now in the National League, it almost seems like they're almost better in every category, actually. Their bats are very good. Runs, Freddie Freeman. Stolen bases, this is where I say why they have more speed, because Ben Revere, 51 stolen bases, Gene Secura 49, Ellis Andrews 41, and we led with 44. So, just slightly more, but still enough to mention it. Base on balls, Goldschmidt, slugging percentage, Pedro Alvarez, OPS, wins, we've got Matt Harvey, Shelby Miller, and Zach Greinke all tied for first, then respectively Brett Anderson and Clayton Kershaw. Tony Cingrani, continuing that he is a stud, hashtag stud. Then we got Steven Strasburg, losses, Clayton Kershaw, very solid. Under a 2 ERA, 15-2 on the season. He's very scary, best pitcher in the game by far. That is just insane stats, insane attributes. Saves, we've got Houston Street, Aroldis Chapman, Jonathan Papelbon, all with over 50. Then Soriano, Reed, Kimbrel, Soria, and Romo all with 40 plus. And, well, the American League had these guys. And Jesse Crane was shitting the bed and he had 38. So that just shows you that the National League is a very, very strong league. ERA, Kershaw, Fernandez, who is now 97, and, well, he's insane. Shelby Miller, Brett Anderson, Jamison Taillon, 86 overall. The Pirates are a contender. They are filled with studs. Home runs allowed, Kershaw, Miller. Strikeouts, 265 for Strasburg. He had more than Darvish. Very solid from his part. And there you see that the MVP is going to be, well, it is Adrian Beltre. Adrian Beltre won the MVP. Justin Verlander won the Cy Young for the second year in a row. Before him was Max Scherzer, obviously. Batting title, Adrian Beltre dethroned Miguel Cabrera. Very solid season, like I said. His 120 RBIs and 43 home runs, leading the league in average hits, home runs, and RBIs. It's hard not to guy give a batting title for that. Then you got Delivery Man of the Year, Tommy Hunter. Rookie of the Year, Julio Morban, dethroning our Astros spree. Nakayama. Arguably, Nakayama hit better because he didn't have as many RBIs because Morban was actually their starter, but Nakayama, he only played a few months. So getting those stats in a few months is very, very solid. In my opinion, Nakayama should have won it, not just being biased, but in my opinion, it should have been Nakayama, but Morban gets it. So, keeping the AL West at least. Hank Aaron Award, there you go. Miguel Cabrera wins it for the third year in a row. Pitcher, Gold Glove, Felix Hernandez. Catcher, Matt Wieters. First base, Chris Davis for the second year. Second base, Jonathan Shoup. Third base, Evan Longoria. Shortstop, Nick Punto. Left fielder, Sin-Soo Choo. Center fielder, Adam Jones. Right fielder, Josh Reddick. So that is why you'll see a lot of Orioles there first on defense. Very solid defensive team. Silver Slugger, Alex Avila, Miguel Cabrera, Robinson Cano, Adrian Beltre, Jed Lowry, dethroning Stephen Drew because Stephen Drew didn't do much this year. Actually, I don't even know. I'll have to look at the National League. Silver Slugger outfield, Mike Trout, Granderson, and Bryce Brents. And that was the American League. Now for the National League, you've got Jay Bruce with his 44 home runs and 118 RBIs. Shelby Miller, Freddie Freeman with the batting title for the second year in a row. Tommy Hunter, that was Delivery Man, because that's universal. National League, Rookie of the Year. Javier Baez beating out Marcus Stroman. Well, dethroning, not really dethroning because he can't win it again, but so this year was Javier Baez. 2014, Marcus Stroman. Hank Aaron, Buster Posey. Very solid season, batting .326 for the Giants. Gold Glove pitchers, we got Matt Harvey, Christian Betancourt, Freddie Freeman, Daniel Murphy, Ryan Zimmerman, Troy Tulowitzki, Carl Crawford for the second year in a row, Jason Hayward, and Nate Shearholtz. And then we got the Silver Sluggers. We've got Buster Posey, Freddie Freeman, Neil Walker, Pedro Alvarez, who exploded on the scene. 39 bombs, 104 RBI. Look at that. 94 power. That guy is a hashtag stud. And we got shortstop Tulowitzki, Hayward, Bruce, Gonzalez, and that is the National League. This right here is worth mentioning. Evan Moyer, the guy who I drafted first overall last year, fractured arm to end his season. I don't have the stats right here because for some reason I'm not showing them because they're in the playoffs and it's not showing the regular season stats. But he finished around like 3-13 with like a 10 ERA when he was injured, so not solid. He's a long way to go to if he ever does get to the major leagues. And to be honest, if he ever does get to the major leagues, I could see him being like a 27, 26-year-old rookie. And that pretty much does it for the end of the regular season update video. We are going to be going into a one-game playoff against the Oakland Athletics. Julio Teheran versus Sonny Gray, and that'll be next episode. This will be episode 32, and episode 33 will be the one-game wild card. Hopefully, we can advance to face the Detroit Tigers, but if not, after that it will be the off-season. I'm hoping that we can make a bigger run this year, possibly take the World Series, and bring it to Houston. And I am JerseyBorn, and I am saying goodbye. On the cloud side, in the night.